Hello. So today I wanted to talk about how order and structure are positive forces that we can include in our lives. But I named this episode Don't Lie to Yourself because I believe that honesty is a crucial factor in order to understand this. When I think about my life, just to use myself as an example because I think it's only fair, I can say that I've always been messy. Order has never played an important part of my life, or at least I didn't think it played an important part of my life, because I always identified myself as a creative person. So order meaning, let's say, the technical aspect of life, the structural aspect of sight, the rules, right? They always were kind of like a nuisance for the creative, like brute, creative force that I was trying to transmit. And though each side plays a part, I think that creative people have the toughest time understanding the value of order, because that creative force is, let's say, the most human thing that we carry around, I believe. That need for producing art in any way, shape, or form. So as years went by and I kept doing art and kept producing stuff, I started to realize that I needed to improve the tools and the skills that I had, but that implied actually turning my head and watching the other side of the coin, which was order and structure. And I realized that the thing that bothered me the most was that it was not the creation process. It was all the little things that contained the creative process. And at first I thought it was a negative thing. But as years have moved on and I've become older, I've come to the understanding that actually order and structure are not a thing that is here while the creative force is here. They're one same thing. And this goes back to what I've been talking about in the last episodes. When you don't see that cleaning your table when you're cooking is as much cooking as the actual, let's say, chopping vegetables and like sealing a piece of meat or whatever it is that you're cooking, then you start to artificially divide the process and only pay attention to this creative side and not the orderly component of this activity. So, for example, if you're a musician, you can have all the inspiration in the world, but you don't have any skillful way to translate it, right? So that kind of binds you in this brute aspect of chaos, of creativity. While if you knew certain techniques or structures within music, then you would be able to do something with those aspects, with these components. The problem is that either we tend to want to be super creative and in a way to escape order and structure, or we tend to overemphasize order, structure, knowledge, technique, and we are losing the thing in itself, which is the spirit component, the creative force. And if you're anything like me, then you've lived trying to evade order and structure because it felt like a way of containing you. But if you see it as the same thing, for example, when I write, if I understand that there are techniques in order to maximize that process and that they're not restrictions but channels, it's almost as if creativity was water, and it molds itself to the container that it is placed on, right? So if you think about a river is a stream of water that's being contained within a structure. But it is not repressing it in the sense that it is a bad thing. It's actually focusing or aiming it towards a specific place. And this is just a metaphor, but I believe that creativity works in that way. If you find how order and structure provide a positive, let's say one half of the entire process, then you'll start using it in your favor, including it as an integral part instead of trying to reject it and push it or overcompensating it with the other. Maybe the reason why we tend to go towards creativity, at least in the case of people like me, it's because that's the thing that we want to do. But you start to fall in love with the other side, with the techniques and the forms and the structures and the restrictions, when you start to understand the role that they play. So in a sense, it's just a matter of being honest with who you are, with knowing where you place yourself in that spectrum between hyper messy or super orderly, and trying to come to a middle point where you're the most organized person that you can be without killing creativity, and where you're the most creative person that you can be without, let's say, neglecting structure or order. Using both, at least in my life, has made it possible for me to concentrate on the actual creative process way more, in a more satisfactory way. At first it seemed counterintuitive, but at the end of the day, your brain is always working and trying to understand what does it have to do and what variables it has to consider. And in that sense, order and structure, what they do is they provide answers to a lot of whys and hows that you might be carrying in your head. So it allows you to download all those preoccupations and all those wonderings, for you to only have to do the creative aspect, the blunt force thing that I've been mentioning during the creative process. Now, I'm nowhere close to be a master at this, but it's something that I'm working actively in every aspect of my life as much as I can, without rejecting who I am. That's where the be honest with yourself or don't lie to yourself comes in. I'm not an organized person. That's why I'm trying to become one. But if I try to do it against my own nature, then I'll kill my own creativity. The only way is to find a way to make it my own, to make order and structure my own, and not, let's say, choose it on top of the creative force that I was. If not, I'm just changing one incomplete side for the other. So yeah, that's it. Like being honest with who you are, acknowledging where your strengths and weaknesses fall in that spectrum, allow you to concentrate on the things that you have to do in order to improve in the things you want to actually create. And from my humble perspective, I think it's one of the best things I've done in a while. So I'll keep doing it. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget to subscribe. I think it's here. If you want to watch any other videos, they should be around here. Normally I put them here. And leave any comments about the things that you would like to hear, if there's any question or any topic that you find interesting. And see you next time.